Guys, listen. I'll let you play the worst freaking horror game ever, I swear. It's basically a game called Hunting, right? And it's basically a game where you're a guy and you go hunting. It's the background to this video right now. And basically, right, I go into a forest, right? I'm trying to find my way, trying to hunt these deer, out here walking, walking peacefully. I'm out here trying to ruin their day, And then basically, right, uh, um, I'm supposed to like kill like 10 or 5 deer. I don't know how many. I forgot. Right. I don't know how many deer you have to kill. Right. You're supposed to like catch them. Put them in your car. Right. So I'm kind of scared of cars. Not scared of cars. I'm kind of scared of freaking like forest. Right. So I stay like near my car. I like try to lure them over with this like whistle thing that like lures in the freaking deer. Right. And then basically, right. I like at some point after I killed like 5 deer, I start hearing screaming. I was like, What's going on?" And then I was like, I was so confused, right? And I was scared. I thought something was coming after me. I thought it was like a monster or something, because it's a freaking horror game. There's probably like a monster out there in the forest trying to come out here and kill me, right? So after like a few like minutes of just me standing next to the freaking car, and like I started shooting at the freaking forest, right? So um just in case it's coming after me, I shoot it before I see it. Right? You have to do predetermined actions. You have to make sure you survive in this freaking harsh world that we live in. And also the game is really pixelated when you try to look really far away without like zooming in into the scope. So I'm out here scared for my life. I try to zoom in with the scope, right? It's freaking covered with forest, right? And at some point, I get my bearings. I'm like, okay, it's time. You know, and I start walking over there. For some reason, we're on top of a freaking mountain. Why is there so many deers on top of a mountain? Right. So I look down the mountain and I just see this like guy that's like pitch black, right? And just eating this other, cannibalizing this other guy, right? And the guy was just like on the ground. I don't know how this guy was freaking screaming. He was freaking dead, right? And he was screaming for like a whole 5 minutes as well. And the black guy, no, that sounds weird. The freaking killer, right? It's just like a freaking. He's just continuing to eating his heart off, And then I freaking shoot him once. He looks at me, freaking with his big ass eyes, right? And then he starts running a freaking Mac 10, bro. Freaking Flash couldn't be this fast, bro. The Flash needs to learn like two things from this guy. Freaking starts running towards me. He goes around the whole freaking mountain, right? Goes behind me and starts freaking running towards me and tries to jump scare me. I shot him like 20 times, by the way. And this guy freaking just tagged the bullets, right? I still continue to run towards me like he's not a freaking. It's like, never mind. He's probably not a human. He don't look human. He freaking looks weird, right? Okay. So after that, I get jump scared, and I was like, "What? What? Okay." Like, and then the game restarts again, but it's sunset, right? Instead of it being day, like in the background, like right now, because I'm watching the video while I'm recording this audio thing, right? Um, it turns into sunset, right? And after I kill like 1 or 2 deer, it freaking turns into midnight, and they give me a flashlight. Okay, so I have to do this freaking hunting thing in the middle of the night. And by the way, before I even started doing that, right, it was like there was some dialogue text, right? And basically, he was like, "Oh, I have to feed my daughter. I have to feed my daughter, bro." Okay, like by the way, he caught like 20 deer, and this guy is trying to catch more. Those 20 deer could freaking feed your whole family and your whole freaking ancestry line, bro. You could feed your whole ass. That amount of deer could feed your grandchildren, and before they even spoil, just depending on how old your daughter is. I'm not trying to be you weird here. Okay, so after that, we're hunting sunset, right? I killed two. Then freaking tense night. They give me a flashlight. Okay, now I have to freaking do the thing. I pull the same shot. I stay next to my car and I lure them over with my freaking whistle thing, right? But at some point, right, when it's freaking midnight, right, I like at some point, my whistle stops freaking making like deer sounds, and it starts making freaking screaming sounds, and I'm like, what? What's going on? This is probably inside my head. I don't remember if I actually said it. Though. So it's like inside my head, right? And then the freaking game, I'm wondering what the hell's going on. And then like I thought the screaming was from like somewhere in the forest, right? So I paused my game, and then I realized the game doesn't pause, right? So I'm out here vulnerable, and I can't shoot So I have to turn off the freaking pause screen or whatever it's called, right? Okay, okay. So I finished my job, I killed all the deer, and then I look at my car, right? And for some reason, all the freaking um, deer they turn into humans. So I think, oh, maybe the guy's cuckoo, maybe he's actually been killing humans this entire time, and it's not been deer, right? And then I'm like, I'm wondering like how this game is gonna end, and then the thing is the thing is the game restarts. You know how it restarted, like, and it said, "Oh, I need to feed my daughter," right? Now it says I have a god to feed, and I was like, what's going on? And then the game is really confusing and really weird, and I don't recommend playing it because it's kind of like it's kind of long, you know. So basically, after that, right, the freaking, I see the bodies inside the freaking car, right, and then it turns into the next day because I think that was supposed to be a jump scare or something, but I was just confused. And then apparently, like it says, or like in dialogue, it says, "Oh, I have like a god to feed," and I'm like, "What? This some must be some demonic type of stuff, bro." Because it's really weird. You don't say that. You don't really say that. That has to be demonic, right? This probably like propaganda for Scientology or something, bro. So basically, right, I'm like, I look into like it becomes the next day, bro, and for some reason the character looks up into the sky, right, and it's like the sky, the stars, the moon, and then I think the moon disappears or something. I don't think there was a moon in the first place. I have just been saying moon this entire time. And basically, right, he looks into the star, and then this like circle thing shows up, and then like I don't know, the game crashes, and then that's the end of the freaking uh, game, I think. And okay, that's the end of my rant. So you should watch the YouTube video. It's on YouTube. I'll probably like put it on the description or something. Okay, bye.